I was a engineering programmer. I was doing projects which were like CAD related, fire sprinkler analysis. Very boring. And this was on the side. We just did Master of the Orion on the side while I was working at the other job. And I like any kind of game which, you know, has some fantasy element, you know, science fantasy or, you know, fantasy. I'd play any of those. Whenever a game has really caught somebody's attention, they've really enjoyed it, is when they tell you their game like it was a history. You know, I went out, oh, and I was doing great until the soccer came out and they attacked me, and now, oh, they destroyed this system and they took that system. When they start to make it sound like it's history, like it's a story, then they have really gotten into the game, and that's what we're trying to achieve. We thought it would have pretty decent appeal. You know, we weren't out there developing that initially trying to make the biggest, best game ever. We were just trying to make a game which we thought we'd enjoy playing if somebody gave to us. I thought we'd run out of ideas, but you know, just in the course of a few months, we've come up with 6 new ones. So we have a pretty lengthy list of things which 3 or 4 years from now we're still going to be working on. Plus, there's also the support of some products which people like. You know, like Master of Orion, we'll probably do some type of sequel for that one. You know, if Magic does well, we'll probably do a sequel for that one too. So we're going to have all the new ones that we want to do plus some others, you know, on the side.
I studied computers in college, and I thought that would be a career in kind of traditional computing. I got a job for a while doing regular business type computing, and that quickly got kind of boring, and it was just about that point, luckily enough, that personal computers became affordable and accessible. And I really was able to combine a hobby, which was gaming, and something I'd studied, which was computers, into this new field of computer entertainment, computer games. Well, I'm a nut in a lot of different areas. I mean, one of the things I like about this job is I get to be a nut for a year. I mean, I get to learn everything I want to learn about railroads, or everything I want to learn about airplanes, or get into the history of civilization. We used to kind of joke that I would do one good game and then one mediocre game and one good game. But the germ of the game was the kernel was to say, let's do the coolest conquer the world game that can be done, and introduce, you know, all these historical civilization elements to really make you feel at home in this game, in this world. I find myself in development always kind of sitting in the player's seat and playing the game and saying, you know, am I having fun? Is this fun? Am I having fun? Am I having a lot of fun? What would make it more fun? You know, what piece of information is missing right now that would really help me to make this decision? Do I have too much information? Would this really be more fun if I didn't know that this guy was sneaking up on me?
Well, the Perfect General and the Lost Admiral, but the Perfect General was and the Lost Admiral were our first 2 games, and we had a tournament going on here for 13 years of a tabletop miniatures World War II type thing. And over those 13 years, we refined the rules year after year after year to get to where we had something pretty terrific. And people would say, you know, why don't you put this into a computer version? I says, well, I'm not a programmer. I'm only a game designer. And but they kept taunting me through the late 80s, and finally we started looking for a programming team and to get this into a computer version. Well, Perfect General, the original Perfect General, is fairly close. There was a lot of things to keep the game somewhat simple. We left out because our tabletop tournament game had gotten very complex with billions of rules. So we simplified those rules to make a good, easy to get into computer game. It has 105 solitaire games in it. Plus we have tournaments, and then we have quests, and we have journeys, that these games are linked together. And you can go through these mansions from room to room playing different games, and there's quick ways of going through, but there's a best way, you know, and you can always improving your score. What I know about a computer is to turn it off and to turn it on. That's it. And that's why we have all these technicians that take care of all that. Because a lot of people will come home from a hard day's work, literally, and they just want to play a game and not do a ton of thinking about every single thing. They don't want to be control freaks, but yet they want to play the game and get to a result and get in this and that. Grandest Fleet started as Lost Admiral 2, and we had a whole new design for Lost Admiral 2, but we have such a hardcore following into the tens of thousands of Lost Admiral 2 that as this Grandest Fleet developed, it didn't look or feel anything like Lost Admiral 2. One is Empire Builder, which is truly the ultimate box, railroad game for the box. We're going to be doing that. And there's also a game called Conquest. We have the license to that. That's been around for 20 years. Bridge Olympiad came out of our group in China. Solitaire's Journey, the team is right here in New Jersey. Lucky's Casinos, British Columbia, Canada, so forth. Well, the first two, Lost Admiral, Perfect General, they got Computer Gaming World. They got Game of the Year for one for strategy and the other for war game. Well, the Chicago Tribune just gave us Game of the Year for Grandest Fleet, and he did the same for Lost Admiral. The list is long. That high quality we try to get in gameability, that the games play and play and play. You don't get tired of too quickly. We're trying to carry that over to all our new inventions of games. We try to create original brand new games and then give them great depth of play. Perfect General and then Solitaire's Journey. And both those are still selling, and we have Conquered Kingdoms and Lost Admiral. And our new Grandest Fleet, just released a couple of months ago, is doing extremely well, and people really, really like that game a lot. Well, we get our registration cards, and I go through them myself every single day. I don't answer the phones too much as far as tech support, but I'm constantly daily talking to our tech people on, especially a new release in this first couple months. Does the public like it or do they dislike it? You know, and I will listen on a couple conversations just to keep checking on that, because we got to know if we're on the mark or not. You know, that's very important, because we think we have the greatest game in the world and nobody else in the world will like it. You know.
If there's a consensus, we'll make a change.
If anybody notices something, I generally address it. I'm not, picky. I take everybody's input as being valid, and we do listen a lot on the networks, on the BBSs, to people's reaction. And likewise, when it came time to actually do Magic, we had looked at a lot of people's reflection on Master of Orion on other games. Whenever a game has really caught somebody's attention, they've really enjoyed it, is when they tell you their game like it was a history. I went out, and I was doing great until the soccer came out and they attacked me, and now, they destroyed this system and they took that system. When they start to make it sound like it's history, like it's a story, then they have really gotten into the game, and that's what we're trying to achieve.
The germ of the game was, the kernel was to say, let's do the coolest conquer the world game that can be done, and introduce all these historical civilization elements to really make you feel at home in this game, in this world. I find myself in development always kind of sitting in the player's seat and playing the game and saying, am I having fun? Is this fun? Am I having fun? Am I having a lot of fun? What would make it more fun? What piece of information is missing right now that would really help me to make this decision? Do I have too much information? Would this really be more fun if I didn't know that this guy was sneaking up on me?
we wanted a game where we would put a lot of emphasis on your design, getting, and the combining of technology, in the fashion that you want to, and the trade-offs, making sure that there's some equitable trade-off and there's some steps you had to do to achieve, to actually attain the technology. And that was the basis for Orion, was in its methodology behind building ships and combining technology and going out there and fighting. Everything else came on afterwards.